So in the previous recording, I finished up with playing with the graph over here with the histogram. So I double clicked on the blue part, then I put the gaps to 0, then I went to the border and I put it here solid line instead of the automatic. I put a solid line, then I put it to black or whatever you want. You can play with the width, you can make it darker and so forth. So over here you see that it is very obvious that the histogram from 0 to 2.5, I have 6 cereals, 5 cereals over here between 2.6 to 5.1 sugar, and over here and so forth. Okay, I can do the same thing for the top shelf and for the middle shelf. Let me erase this because I have 2 of them. Okay. So I did the same idea over here. I just copy pasted for the middle one. For example, I just want to show you for the middle shelf. I said, okay, I took just the array here. The data will be from the middle, and then I put the same condition, more than 0 and less than 2.5, and he counts for me and so forth. Well, some students told me I don't want to do this. I don't want to type the command count ifs and all that stuff. Well, you can do something called frequency distribution over here, which we can use the data, and then we can use the data analysis part of the histogram. So I can go to histogram over here with the data analysis, then click OK. Then you can put the input range. For example, let's do for the middle class. The middle class I will have over here is this. This is my data range for the middle class. For the bin range, so the bin range over here will be the upper bound of the class. So the upper bound of the class over here, you put the cursor over here and you take the upper bound over here. Then now, does your data have labels? I didn't put labels for my data, so it's not, so I don't have to take that. Then now he asked me where you want your output range. Well, you can put it in a new worksheet. I'll leave it as a new worksheet play because I don't want to put it over here because I have over here the graphs. Then I want the chart output. Remember to put the chart output. So you want the chart and you want the frequency. So that's the idea of the data analysis. It just makes things really quick for you to count the frequencies and do the histogram at once instead of doing it in 2 steps as I did it before with the if statement, count ifs. So this is really just making it easier. Some people using Google Chrome, for example, they don't have the option of data analysis, and you don't have to use data analysis package. You can use the manually by count ifs, or you can just go here and count how many people in the middle has numbers with the frequency between 0 and 2, so you count how many get from 0 to 2, 1, just over here you can in the middle, so you just see one of them has from 0 to 2. Then you want to count how many between 3 and 5, so you have 1, 2, 3 of them over here. So you can count them manually. You don't have to use any technology over here because the data set you have is really small, which is just 77 of them, and in the middle is just 22 to 42, so it's a 21 data. So in the middle you just have 21 data, and it's really easy to count, really quick. But if you want to automatize it, you can use either by the count ifs or by the data analysis as we're mentioning over here. So I'm doing over here the data analysis. Now if you do all this, you put the input range. Notice that what I picked for my input range is the middle range. Again, I just want to emphasize about it. And the bin range is where did you pick your pins here for the middle. So the middle shelf, I want to take this one out and just show you. I will pick the upper one over here. Then I want to see where's the output. Where do you want the output? I want it in a new worksheet and I want a chart output with it. So let's hit OK and see what will happen. Look how he created for you new sheet over here, and he showed you here the frequency. So let me just show you from the first class was, let me put this over here. So the first class was from 0 to 2.5. So 0 to 2.5, 0 to 2.5. I have, let me add the data over here, the data label, just to show you data label over here. So I have just one. Then from 2.5 then I have from 2.6 to 5.1, 2.6 to 5.1, I will have a 3 and so forth. You notice that I have it here 3 and so forth, if you see the middle shelf. Okay, now I can redo this one, but I want the histogram and the frequency to be at the same page instead of going back and forth between the sheets, so I can delete this. I can delete this one over here. He says you want to delete, I'll say yes, delete. Then I can add one over here and I say, so let's go back and do another chart over here using the data analysis. So I will do the same thing, the histogram. Notice that he saved everything for me, all my previous options. Okay, now I want to put it, the output range, I wanted to put it here in this worksheet, so I don't have to go back and forth between the worksheets. So I will just pick where I want my output to be. I said I want it over here. Oops, sorry, I have to redo this. This was the range. So let's pick up the range again. The range over here, the cursor for the range. So the cursor for the range was the middle over here, so I picked the middle. The bin numbers is my bin numbers over here. Just make sure it is correct. So my bin numbers over here is the upper bound in the middle shell. Then I want to put the output range. The output range over here, look at the cursor, says output range. I want to put it over here, for example, on this sheet, and I want the chart put out. So here you go. And you see he put it in next to you in the worksheet over here, and here is the histogram. He did it for you. Now you just need to modify. For example, I want the labels over here. Again, as I did before, right click on it and change the select data. Then you edit the data labels, and I want to put this data labels over here. Or you want it for the middle, sorry, so I want the middle over here. So you say okay, and you say okay. And you will see you will have now the data label over here. Another thing you have to make sure is you don't have more, because I just want these 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so I have to erase the more from here. But erasing it over here, it will just erase it from frequency table, but it will not erase it from the graph. To erase it from the graph, you have to right click on it and says select data, and in the data here you have to take out the last one, and you don't have it no more. So now you see that you don't have it no more. So now you have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And before as I did with the other data, I want to have no gaps here. So if I click on the blue one, make sure you select all the blue ones. You go over here and you say I don't want gaps. Then you go to the border and you say solid line, and you pick the color, any color you want. I'll just pick black and finish it up over here. So let's close this, and you see over here, if you make it a little bit bigger, I will have the middle shelf. So I'll write over here middle shelf. You need to change the, so middle shelf, and over here the bin. Instead of the bin, I want to close this. I know this. So I want to change this bin. So instead of this, I will just write the classes of sugar, or whatever I wrote before, sugar classes, and I really don't need the frequency, because I don't need this label because I have frequency on the vertical over here. I really don't need it, so I can just erase it. I can add the data labels over here just to show it really quick for the audience, and this looks really exactly what I did. Notice that the frequency over here, or the histogram over here, is right over here. The histogram on the right you have most of the data. You have almost 15 of the data, while on the left you have just 6, and that's what we call left-tailed. Your tail here is on the left. When your concentration of the data on the right and the tail on the left, we call it left-tailed. Okay, and this is what I mentioned over here. I said the middle one is left-tailed curve, or they call it in the book negatively skewed curve, where the mean to the left of the median, and the bottom, if you notice on the bottom, it has right-tailed. Let me erase this because I really don't need this. Delete. just want to erase this. So now I want to take the format out, so let's take just the format cells. We say the border, no border. Okay. So I took everything out. Let me take it again. Format cells. Oops. Format cells. And I say border, none. And I say OK. I didn't push OK last time. So. For some reason I just don't want to take it out. Let's try it again. Format cells. Format cells. And we'll say border. None. Sorry, I was picking the style none. The border is none, so OK, and it took it out. OK. So notice that from the histogram you have the bottom shelf has the least sugar amount because the concentration here of sugars is to the left, and this is what we call right-tailed, where the mean is going to the right of the median and most of your data on the left. So most of the cereals over here has less sugar. Over here in the middle shelf, most of the cereals has more sugar. And in the top shelves, you will see that it's almost symmetry, which is the cereal, most of the cereals on this shelf is having average of sugar amount. Now, if you want to, the deviation you'll see over here, I summarize it, it's right, left, and symmetry for the top. And you notice that I added the sum of the sugar, and you notice that the amount of sugar on the bottom shelf is the least amount of sugar, and this is exactly what this says, the graph. Notice that the middle and the top has almost similar amount of sugar. So how I'm gonna recognize which one is having more cereal with the more amount of sugar? Notice that from the graph of the deviation of your data, the right data over here is left-tailed, so the most of the data is on the right. So this shelf has more amount of sugar. The cereals are more having, if you pick one cereal, the cereal more likely to be having more sugar than the rest of the shelves. Okay, so you notice that the bottom shelf has the least amount of sugar, the middle shelf has the most amount of sugar, and the middle one has almost the middle amount of the sugar if you pick a cereal. Okay. So the rest of the questions, question number 7, question number 8, 9, 10 is open-ended questions, and I noticed that people try to run away from there by just saying no, no, no. But this is not a way of analysis of research analysis. So usually you wanna, the answers you had from the first 6 questions should give you an opportunity to ask more questions about the research, and this is usually what happens. Hopefully this is helpful for everybody. If you don't understand how to use your Excel correctly or how to produce something correctly, just come to my office during my office hours or go to the tutoring centers. And I mentioned this many times, and just don't push it away, because later on you will see that we will use Excel a lot, and we will use Excel just like, I'm not gonna do it in front of you. I'll just show to you, okay, in front of you, just here, I did this on Excel, and you have to go figure it out by yourself. So as I mentioned in the classroom, everybody has different machine, and you have to familiarize yourself with your machine. Okay, thank you everybody. I really hope this is helpful, and this is the second part concerning the Quiz2 project.